Just finishing this clean to get Dave back on the road.
Nice. I wonder what Dave's doing.
You do your thing. We've got you covered.
Hey, is the power off on this?
I don't know. Just take it off.
Safety violation, unsafe work conditions.
In the construction trades unions, safety is our highest priority, and we train you to recognize and speak out on unsafe working conditions so that everyone arrives and goes home safely. Learn about careers in construction at georgiaconstructioncareers.com.
All right, good afternoon and welcome to the 328th episode of the Alfa Insurance Georgia Prep Sports Drive for the GHSA State Title. Today we're going to talk basketball with the region tournaments, the playoff seeding. We'll look at the traditional wrestling after the first day. Can you hear me? Okay. After the first day, we can look at, based on who is guaranteed certain places, who has the best chance to win in each classification. Because if you had a wrestler, let's say, advance to the quarterfinals, they're guaranteed at least a top 4 finish. We'll be able to look at the point total heading into this weekend. And then we're also going to be joined by Jordan Dubrof to talk basketball. And then our guest in the first segment is going to be John Small, East Coweta's head coach. So let's go ahead and get started with Coach Small. Hey, Coach, how's it going?
Hey, good, Craig. How are you today?
Doing great. So we talked last season a bunch, and East Coweta's been a team that, from what I've seen over the years, you guys have had the big signature wins. You're competitive every season, and you're a team that I know can break through, make noise in the playoffs. So what have the goals been like this season, and what did you guys learn this past year?
Well, this past season we learned a lot. Had the youngest football team that, as a head coach, I've ever had, and youngest team we've had since we've been here. Graduated a lot of great kids from the 2022 season. So really didn't know what to expect going into the year, except they were going to play hard and work hard and grow each week. And we had seniors last year. We got over 230 kids in the program about every year. So that was a really small senior class. But they did a phenomenal job of pulling everybody together. And, we finished the season 7-4. I think everybody, some of the media in Atlanta picked us to win 2 games, which was exactly the motivation our kids needed probably. So I appreciate that. But really bring a lot of kids back this year, a lot of kids that got a lot of experience. We played started 6 freshmen this year, which is never a good recipe for success in the highest class, but we knew that they were talented kids that needed some experience. And the kids have come back in the off season and just been outstanding, and really excited about what this next season holds for these kids.
And so did you expect last offseason to have 6 freshmen start, or did they kind of show that they were ready to go? Were you keeping an eye on them when they're in 8th grade before they showed up?
Yeah, you watch them through the 8th grade, the middle school program, and then they work out with us through the off season. And you every now and then you find some kids that may be ready to do that. And if you're going to have a young team, I believe go ahead and love them and get them the experience. And we ended up pulling 7 more up with us at the end of the year that got some playing time, which was crazy. But they're talented kids and really did a good job. I want to get them through the grind of a varsity season, get them used to that.
And was that a situation where these freshmen just had the athletic capability to fill into positions where you guys needed someone to step up? Are these guys that are going to kind of stick with those positions, or did you guys just need them to step up because they had the physical gifts to come in ready to play?
Well, they had the physical gifts to come in and play and contribute. And, so the test was, could they learn the scheme and, figure out the play calls and what they're supposed to do on each play. And, our coaches did a really good moving them along slowly. But they're kids that I look at and say these will be, two-way players for us the next 3 years because they already know one side of the ball. Now they can learn another side of the ball. And really, really talented freshman group that we had.
And then at quarterback, I know you guys had some last-minute changes there, but Cohen People stepped up, took the starting role. What did you see from him, and what role is he going to play this upcoming season?
Man, he's one of the kids I'm out of probably in my career. He handled some adversity his sophomore year when he got beat out. Didn't like it. The kid's been raised right. He's got great parents at home helping him deal with adversity and grow through it. So after about 2 weeks of him not liking it, he went back to work. And, I told him things always work out crazy. Just stay the course, man. And sure enough, it did. And he came in this year, was ready, was poised, took the job in the spring, and the kids just rallied around him. But he's a great football player, just a really poised kid and doesn't get too high or too low. So really excited about being able to bring back a veteran quarterback with this group this coming up here that has experience.
Yep, and you mentioned the media might have predicted you to have 2 wins, but I know since you've been there, you guys have always scheduled at least one big South Georgia matchup. You guys have challenged yourself with the non-region schedule. So how has that paid off, just setting that standard each year, taking the road trips to South Georgia early in the season? And what did you see last year in that non-region slate?
Well, it was tough again. I'm a firm believer. I mean, people may think I'm crazy, but I'd rather grow through a tough loss, a hard game, and let a kid grow through it because it's going to make him a better man down the road. And now we're able to start winning some of those really tough games, and you've seen a kind of a paradigm shift in our kids. They want to play the best people. They want to be in the big environments and take on that challenge. And we don't always come out on top, but they learn something from it. We learn something from it about ourselves. But, last season we went down to South Georgia and played Lowndes and with a young football team on the road in a hostile environment. They jump out 14-0 on us within the first 2.5 minutes. And I thought, okay, we're about to find out what we're about. And we reeled off 42 straight points. And so the kids just don't flinch. We just have a blue-collar type kid down here that works hard, and we may not have all the 5 stars and all that and be able to hit the transfer portal in high school like a lot of people do. But just give us our kids. We're going to play the best that we can and give it all we got.
Absolutely. And so looks like offensively you have people stepping up at quarterback, and then you guys were more run by committee this season or this past season that you probably have been in the past. What was the offensive balance like overall for you guys?
It was good. You always talk about you want to be 50-50 and be balanced, but it may not always work out that way. But we felt like we had a great offensive line, and we returned a lot of those guys back. We got 2 twins that were sophomores this year that are 6'6", 320, and 6'6", 290. And they're like ballerinas, man. They can move, and they're athletic. Named Cortland and Courtney Hurd. They've started to pick up some steam in recruiting with some Power 5 offers. Just 2 good kids that grew up here and work hard, and we had some other kids around them, and had 2 really good running backs, and we returned the Darrell Thompson kid will be back as a senior. And then we have a rising sophomore named Ricky Howell and Justin Brown. So I feel like we can run the ball again this year with the guys that we have. And I think we're going to be better on the perimeter athletically than we've been in a long time on both sides of the football.
That's exciting. And then, you guys beat Sandy Creek. You guys beat Lowndes. You match up with Stars Mill. So you saw teams that are just known for being super athletic at the skill positions, other teams that like to run the ball more, like Stars Mill. But what did you see athletically from your team last year? Then how do you think that will be able to help you guys this year?
Been really excited about our strength and conditioning program. Coach Andy Washington does a phenomenal job in there developing those guys, strength-wise, but also, agility-wise and speed-wise, and have really seen, a big progression in our speed and athleticism the last few years with those kids going through that. And it carries over to the field. So I don't think that when we play people now, I don't look across the field and say, hey, they're going to be more athletic than us. I feel like we can compare with people. And again, we may not have 10 5-stars, but we got kids that can compete and run around and make plays and love playing the game with one another.
Yep, and then, making the playoffs in Class 7A, playing 6 freshmen, that's got to be a big confidence boost for them. So who were some of the freshmen, and walk us through what positions they filled? Was it majority offensive line or kind of all over the place?
Well, you had running back Ricky Howell. You had Walter Maestri was a wide receiver. Chance Gilbert was a defensive back. Dylan Cleveland was a defensive lineman. And then we've got a kicker that's a freshman, Aaron McWilliams, who's ranked the #1 kicker in his class. And it's really his second year ever kicking a football. He was a soccer player in 8th grade. And, coming up, then in 8th grade, he kicked for the middle school team, and the guy puts it almost through the goalpost on kickoffs. And he's a kid that by the time his career is done, I wouldn't be surprised if he's breaking a state record and kicking a 60-plus something field goal, because he is something else.
That's right. And then it looks like you have I'm looking at the recruit page right now, Ryan Story. You guys got a great long snapper as well. So what's the recruiting process been like for you guys, and how busy do you think this summer is going to be for them?
I think the summer will be pretty busy. Ryan was a former defensive back that's played for 3 years that kind of worked underneath our deep snapper that went to Auburn after this season, Keaton McNutt. He was a 5-star snapper. And Keaton kind of guided him down that path and got him involved in the things he needed to be involved in, and with the Coles camps and all that. And, he's going to be a guy just like Keaton, so he's going to give himself an opportunity to do something at the next level, which is pretty cool. And then, Darion Horsley's a 6'3", 180-pound corner that's probably grown an inch and a half since last spring, but just a phenomenal player. Down here in East Coweta and the Noonan area, we're kind of in the central part of the state and just don't get a ton of traffic. Most guys fly in recruiting-wise, they go north, and some of those counties are probably over-recruited. When they come down to see some of our kids, they're impressed, and they usually get offers and have opportunities. I hope that picks up some more this year with getting some guys down here to check these kids out.
Yep. And then another thing that happens in the recruiting process, if you have one guy that's really sought after and is getting a lot of coaches there, it does help get eyes on some of the other players. So who has been kind of that most sought after guy that a lot of colleges are interested in and have been able to attract some big names?
The Darion Horsley kid, you don't find kids like him with the length that he has and the athleticism that he has. And then the 2 twins that are sophomores, people know about them and are getting down here, and then they're finding out about some of our other kids. And so we've been able to put a lot of kids in college, which is one of the goals as a coach. And so we do get kids there. They get themselves there by doing what they need to do. But it would be nice to get some more traffic so they can lay eyes on some of these kids down here in this area, not just our school.
Yep, and you mentioned Darion Horsley, 6'3". You said he grew an inch. He seems to be versatile, can get done on both sides. But do you see him as a cornerback, a safety? Where do you think he's going to fit in at the next level and then this season?
Well, I get asked that a lot by college coaches. Do you see him as a safety or a corner? And I said, look, man, I got to find my Sam linebacker in the lunchroom. So I'm going to play the kid where I need to play him. He's going to play corner for us, but next level, he's probably going to put on 20 pounds because he's going to be on a training table, and he's physical enough and fast enough and all that to play safety. So I think you're getting a 2-for-1. If you want to play corner, he'll play corner. If you want to play safety, he'll play safety, But he's just a football player, and so really excited about his future.
Yep, and then I'm looking at your signing day. I know when the real signing day, not the early one, it looks like Josh Anderson went to Valdosta State, played a huge role. But how many overall guys did you guys have from that 2024 class get to sign for the next level?
We've had 4 so far. We had 2 sign early. The Keaton McNutt kid went to Auburn. We had a tackle that went to Middle Tennessee State, Zach Clayton. Deontay Jones, a running back, went to the University of Charleston up in West Virginia. And then Josh Anderson went on to Valdosta State. And we've got about 3 or 4 of the kids that we're still trying to figure some things out for. And, the transfer portal and NCAA and all that, it's crazy for kids nowadays. And the ones that get an opportunity, you got to take full advantage of it, But really, but again, we didn't have a ton of seniors that played for us either. We had 25 seniors, and I'd say probably 7 or 8 played.
Yep, and then you talked about the twins, Cortland and Courtney. I know I'm looking at right now, Cortland, 6'7", 330 pounds. Are they both the same size?
Well, they're both 6'6". I don't know where the 6'7" came from, but I hope they grow another inch. That'd be nice. But the basketball coach would love it too because they both hoop for EC. One of them's 320 and the other 290, but they look identical. It's hard for me to tell them apart. One of them plays tackle, one of them plays guard. I think they'll both play tackle this year for us. But just 2 great kids that work extremely hard and tough kids, and really excited about their future.
Yeah, that's awesome. And definitely when we watch you guys next season, I'm sure they will stand out. That is 2 big boys right there. Let's talk a little bit about the schedule, though. Who you guys going to scrimmage against leading up to the season?
We're going to open up and scrimmage Coach Kearney and those guys over at Spalding, kind of a local game here to do that fall scrimmage. And then we'll open up again with Sandy Creek. They got tons of athletes, tons of talented kids, a lot of speed, so it's a great challenge for us. Another local game. And then we'll play our crosstown rival, Noonan, which is always an exciting game here locally for everybody. I think it's one of the greatest rivalries in the state of Georgia. It's a phenomenal atmosphere for the kids in the community. And then we'll play who do we get? We have North Cobb on the road. Then we'll play Lovejoy. And then we'll go to we were scheduled to play Warner Robins down there. We wanted to go kind of a different direction and play somebody with a storied program. And so through at the end at nobody's fault. It just happened. So fortunately, we were able to pick up Perry High School. I don't know how fortunate that is coming off a state championship, but another tough opponent, a great football team. Coach Smith does a phenomenal job and has done one over there, and a lot of respect for those guys. And then we had to pick up a 6th game this year due to 3 teams dropping out of the new region. So that put us back to 5. So we had to pick up one really late, and we picked up Cambridge from Fulton County. So I was hoping we only had to find 3 this year with the new regions and classifications, but I guess Georgia High School went against their rule of no appealing, so who knows? So,
yeah, my favorite appeal story ever was, I think this was the year before Trevor Lawrence. Cartersville was in the same region as LaGrange, and it's like, that is so far away. It was unbelievable, but they tried to appeal. It didn't work. So yeah, that's a great point. A lot of these regions got bigger, but you're in a 6-team one, so it's half and half. Is that what you prefer, to have
we're in a
more non-region
five
games?
Team. We're back in a 5-team region, which I think it may be the toughest region in our classification with Carrollton, Westlake, and Douglas County and Chapel Hill. in that region. But when you have 8 teams, you can play 7 region games and pick up 3 non-region. It's so hard to find the non-region games with everybody having a larger region because they don't have the games. So I've never heard of being able to appeal the appeal of the denial of the appeal. It makes no sense, but I'm not in charge of that, so it really doesn't matter.
Was that Alexander that got moved out?
Alexander got moved out, and Noonan High School got moved out, which they're in our county. I don't, whatever. And then Paulding County, right at the beginning, they said we're going to appeal to move regions. They're going to stay in 6A. So they didn't appeal the classification. They just appealed to move regions to be closer to some teams. So, us in Carrollton and Douglas County and Chapel Hill were stuck with finding all these games, but it is what it is. We're going to do the best we can with it, and here we go.
Yep, that's 2 less games than every other region in Class 6A, so that is very interesting. But then you'll have Douglas County coming in. I mean, that's going to be yet another super talented team. You talked about how great your region is, so I mean, how big is it going to be? You're going to be playing against Carrollton, Douglas County. It looks like you have Westlake, multiple teams in this region that are all eyeing the state title this season.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a blast. Going to be quite a challenge for our kids, but they're excited about it. And we love to play good people, and so we're going to welcome the challenge and go out there and do the best we can and go compete well.
That's right. And then to add, North Cobb, Lovejoy, Cambridge, and Perry. So that is going to be quite a schedule for sure. Anything else, though, that is on the radar? When do you guys start up spring this year?
We start up spring May 2nd, I believe, is the day we start. And we'll have our 10 days of practice, and we play an inter-squad game for our spring game, just make it a community event. And we've got so many kids in our program that if you play a game, not everybody's going to get reps. So we do an inter-squad game and kind of split them up, and that's the one game that everybody's guaranteed to get reps. Because when the season starts, they ain't guaranteed to get no reps. It's totally up to them. So. But really like this bunch of kids. They do a great job of leading each other, and the senior leadership is outstanding, and really proud of the mentoring that takes place within our program with our kids.
Yep. And last point, but I mentioned Cohen, your quarterback, so you're going to have an inter squad. Who are some young quarterbacks or backups that you're excited for, just seeing get to compete and work for their future this year?
Yeah, our backup quarterback last season was Andrew Schock. He'll be a junior. And then we have a freshman that played JV for us named Jax Bowles, Jaxbowles. He'll be a quarterback in the mix. He's also a standout baseball player and does both. But really, really like all 3 of those guys, and Cohen does a good job of leading all of them. And I want him to go out there and compete like crazy in the spring, and one of those other 2 guys try to beat him out. And then make a competition, to make them better.
For sure. And I know you guys are going to be motivated with this schedule to come out sharp, but who offensively are you excited about that's just able to bring that big play potential that could just get the ball in his hands, just turn it into something special?
Well, I think Darrell Thompson, our running back, he's a 210-pound kid, 5'11", strong as a bull, has some great top-end speed, a physical runner. Last year he was kind of the bruiser, and the senior was kind of the speed guy. But Darrell's worked really hard, so I feel like he can take it to the house anytime he touches it. But on the perimeter, we have a sophomore. He'll be a junior named Elijah Farrell. that's not very big, but he is explosive, athletic in space. And then we have a kid that did not play this year for us, Jay-Sean Stegall. That's about 6'3", 190-pound receiver that played for us, that's back now with us. He's been with us. He just didn't play this year. But he's back and had a great offseason. Of course, Darion receiver as well. We feel like we got a number of guys that we can roll in there and do it.
Awesome. Well, we're looking forward to it. Thank you so much for the insight, Coach Small. We really appreciate it, and best of luck this season.
Hey, thanks you guys for what you do for high school sports, man. Appreciate you.
You bet. All right, so there goes Coach Small and the East Coweta Indians. Very exciting. That schedule is outstanding. Adding Perry in there, that's huge. And it will be interesting because they aren't going to start region play until midway through the season. All these other Class 7A teams, we're going to see them get into their region schedules. They only have 5 teams. You got 9-team regions, 8, 7, all over 7A. So once that region play heats up, it's going to be very interesting late in that back half of the schedule. But we'll go ahead and take a quick break. We'll be back on the other side to get into some basketball news.
What you doing?
Hey, just finishing this claim to get Dave back on the road.
Nice. I wonder what Dave's doing.
You do your thing. We've got you covered.
Hey, does it matter if this leaks?
It don't matter to me. Can't see it from my house.
Illegal use of hands, improper training.
GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com has 14 different highly skilled trades with tuition-free training in our certified apprenticeship programs to train you the right way. Find your career at GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com.
All right, welcome back. So let's get into the basketball updates. We're going to be joined now by Jordan Dubrof. I know he had his eye on, I think it was in Class 4A, some big matchups, Holy Innocents, and also he's been covering the Cherokee area, Woodstock, Sequoia. I know he's been having his eye on River Ridge as well. But let's go ahead and bring on Jordan. What's up, Jordan? How's it going?
How are you?
Doing well. So you were up close for some action last night. Talk about what you saw, what games you were at, and what impressed you.
I was at a GHC over at Greater Atlanta Christian at their region tournament. They got Cal, Chattahoochee, North Springs, Northview for their region tournament, and Cambridge, of course. Cal guys are going to be taking on Chattahoochee tonight in the championship game at 8 tonight. Cal girls are going to be taking on GAC in the girls' side of the championship game tonight at 6 p.m. tonight, which are both really good programs, too.
Yeah, that's right. And then, so that's Region 6 and 5A. Obviously, that region had both of last year's champions with Kel winning the boys and girls. But you mentioned Chattahoochee on the boys' side. They had a 2-point win over Centennial to advance to the semis. If they lost that 2-point win, they would have been season done. They had the big win over GAC. What did you sense from their excitement, and how big do you think that win was over over GAC to guarantee home court in the first round and then set up this big matchup tonight?
A huge win last night for Chattahoochee to beat GAC in their home court, because Chattahoochee has a lot of talented players. And GAC has a lot of really good players as well. Both from phenomenal program. GAC head coach used to go to school there, and he's their head varsity basketball coach, which is really cool.
Yep, and GAC's won state titles, boys and girls. They are obviously one of the best programs, all the way up in 5A right now. But so it was 63-55. Was Chattahoochee in control the whole game? How did they pull away and get that victory?
Chattahoochee was in control most of the game. It was an exciting game going into halftime. GHC was down by 5, but they stayed in the game most of the game. But it was exciting to see Chattahoochee pull off the W to go up against Cal in the state championship game tonight.
Yep, and
in
so
the region
all that,
tournament.
That's right, and so that will all be at GAC. 4 games. It's going to be the girls' consolation, Northview against Cambridge. The boys, that is GAC North Springs, and then girls GAC Cal, and then boys Cal Chattahoochee. What did you think overall? Was that your first time going to GAC and seeing their gym?
No, I was out there last Friday when GAC took on Cal in the last regular season game, right before region tournament happened. So I got to see Cal play GAC, which Cal has a lot of great players on the girls' side. They got a transfer in mid-season. She came over from Mount Perrin. Let me get you the name of the player. It's number 20, Kennedy Dees. She's a sophomore, and she's a really good player. And she came in from Mount Perrin.
Yep, and Kel's had a kind of a tough challenge in the region tournament. The defending state champs on the girls' side, a 1-point victory over Centennial. It's hard to believe, but if they would have lost that game, that would have eliminated them. They would have missed out on the playoffs, but they had the big win last night, 49-41 over Northview. Who do you think is going to take that matchup tonight, though, between GAC and Cal? How huge is that one going to be, and do you think home court's going to benefit GAC?
It's going to be a huge game tonight, Cal versus GAC. If GAC can stay strong and pull off and come out strong in the first half, you can see GAC winning the game. But if Cal can come out strong and knock off GAC, you can see Cal winning the region tournament.
Yep, and so they've already played twice this season. The first time, this was at Cal. GAC won that one 50-46, but then just last week on February 9th, Cal got that road win 53-39. So they've seen each other twice. They've split. The visiting team has won both matchups. You got to think Cal probably has more momentum just being in that tough game against Centennial, advancing, and now having this opportunity to get the top seed.
Yeah. And they're peaking at the right moments, too.
Exactly.
In the tournament. Yeah.
And that's interesting. So they have the mid-season transfer, a sophomore stepping up. And then, I mean, do you think Chattahoochee has any shot against the Cowboys? They seem to have been much more dominant this season just in that region as the top seed following their regular season slate.
Yeah, I think Chattahoochee has that competing against Cowboys tonight for the region championship. Chattahoochee, their head coach is really great. His son plays on the team. and his son played really well last night too.
Yep, and so the
For
Cowboys,
Chattahoochee.
they've now won 21 straight. They're 22-3 overall. Let's see who their losses were to this season. It was obviously early. McEachern, Newton, and Grayson, all 7A teams, and those were actually 3 straight losses. They opened the year 1-3, and now they're 22-3. Haven't lost since. And then the last time they played Chattahoochee, it looks like it was a 63-47 and 62-49. So it has been close, but what do you think the strategy is going to be for Chattahoochee? I mean, have you been impressed with their size? Is it the shooting, or is it individual players that you're mentioning?
I've been impressed with their size and their individual players too. They've had a lot of players step up the score points, and they've been really impressive to watch in the region tournament this week.
That's right. And then there were some other pretty interesting results last night. Let's look at the boys. I know I was looking at the girls a second ago in 7A. What's your plan for covering the final region championship games tonight?
I'm going to be out here at GAC tonight covering their region tournament. I'd love to see their region tournament. A great place to see some high school basketball. If you guys ever been out there, it's like a college arena, I should say.
Oh yeah, it is super nice. We were out there for the Corky Kell as well. The entire campus is absolutely beautiful. So it looks like in 7A, some region championship games tonight. You got Valdosta and Camden County. You got McEachern and Hillgrove. And then, I mean, I got to talk about it. Wheeler and Walton, round 3 for the region championship. What do you think the outcome's going to be in that one? They've played 2 very close games already.
Walton's going to get the W. All the Walton fans are going to be out there strong supporting their Walton Raiders tonight. So Walton's going to get the win over Wheeler tonight.
I tend to agree with you. You look at the last time they faced off, the 46-43. It was at Wheeler. I think Walton just didn't shoot well. I mean, they got to make adjustments, but I think they're going to come away with the win also. I'd agree with you there. Another one that happened this week, the Buford boys, they've been really hot. They won the Region 8 title.
Another good game tonight is going to be the Marist St. Pius game. That region tournament's going on at Riverwood High School today.
Yep, that'll be at 8:30. That's going to follow the Riverwood North Atlanta game. Another big one in Class 6A. You got Jonesboro and Woodward Academy. They have split this season. I think that's going to be very intense, and those schools are well familiar with each other in every sport. I think the goal for Jonesboro every year is beat Woodward Academy, and you look at across whether it's football and basketball over the years, that's been a primetime matchup. Both those teams have won state titles. I think that's a huge one tonight for who's going to set the tone in Class 6A.
True. I'd love to see Jonesboro win.
Yep, and then let's look at Region 5. It's also 6A boys. Langston Hughes and Douglas County. That's a tremendous
really
rivalry.
Great basketball program. Yeah.
Absolutely. Douglas County got beat by Alexander, who looks like they might be the favorite this year in the semis. We'll see if they can come out and beat Hughes, but then it's going to be Alexander and South Paulding for the region title. And then it looks like another one. Talk about rivalries right here. Etowah against Woodstock on the boys' side.
I got Etowah winning that game. Etowah has a great program. They've done really well this season.
They sure have, and they were the number 1 seed after the regular season. And then I think another in-county rivalry region title game tonight, Pope against Sprayberry. And Pope has just been tremendous defensively all season long.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a great matchup for that Region 7 title.
Yeah, I got to go with Pope on that one.
Absolutely. And then let's look at the girls' side real quick, the ones that we will get to see tonight.
Another good region game on the guys. It's a McEachern-Hillgrove game tonight.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's McEachern's game to win, but obviously they've faced off already this season, and you're going to have to find an answer for Ace Bailey. But
yeah.
It's a different type of high school athlete, that is for sure. He is the real deal.
And then you got and one other game on the guys' side is Pace Academy and McDonough. They're facing off again in the
That's right. Yep. Not talking about that matchup. I think it's huge. The first time they faced, McDonough jumped out to that huge lead, scored I think 23 points in the first quarter, dominated the matchup. The second time, Pace Academy dominated. They went from making 1 3-pointer in the first game, 13 made 3-pointers in the second game. So that's something you got to adjust. You can't let them get those open threes. And Sharman White's going to try to game plan, and it should be quite an atmosphere.
And you can catch John Morgo on the call for Pace Academy too tonight.
Oh, perfect. All right, we'll check that out. And yeah, he will have the insights. So definitely, if you're going to watch any game, you got the 2-time defending state champs, Pace Academy, Sharman White, on those 2 rivals.
Yeah.
They've been number 1 and 2 throughout the season, and that is probably the biggest region championship matchup. Then let's see.
Let's look at the girls' side of the basketball.
Yep. So earlier this week, the Norcross girls, congrats to them. They won the Region 7 title on Wednesday in dominant fashion, 61-19 over North Gwinnett. They were the team that beat Baldwin in the Corky Kell. They came up just shy last year to Brookwood in the finals. Looks like they are on fire right now. And then Peachtree Ridge was able to avenge a 3-point loss to Norcross earlier this month. They won the region title with a 3-point victory over the Norcross boys. That's a big win for Peachtree Ridge. Let's stick to the girls, though. Let's look at the big ones tonight in 6A. You're going to have Brunswick, Glen Academy. Obviously, those are bitter rivals. Woodward Academy and Rockdale County for the Region 3 title. That's a big one. And then you mentioned Marist and St. Pius. Jordan, you still there?
Yeah, on the guys' side. Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah, I think on the guys' side,
I'm here.
The Walton Wheeler one, but on the girls, it's got to be the Marist St. Pius. That's huge. Woodward, Rockdale, and then you got River Ridge and Rome, but I just feel like River Ridge on a completely different level. Rome did beat Sequoia in the semis, but topping River Ridge, that's going to be tough. And then Lassiter and Pope for the Region 7 girls title. I brought it up earlier this month. This is probably the best season the Lassiter girls have had in the last century or last couple decades. And they get a chance to play for a region title. That is huge for them.
It's going to be packed out over there tonight, too.
No doubt. And then
let's look at
some of these lower classifications real quick. In Class 5A, Region 5 looks like one of the few that's not going to play their region title until Saturday. You will have Maynard Jackson in Tri-Cities tonight. 2 top 10 opponents. Mentioned the big one between GAC and Kell on the girls' side.
Yep. You got Walton Cherokee on the girls' side at 7 p.m.
Yep, and then Baldwin Griffin. Those teams played 5 times last year. Griffin got the state title. Baldwin has dominated them this season, 20-point, 30-point victories every single time. So this is their chance to close out the season. They haven't lost once within Class 4A. Haven't lost since the Norcross game. And whether it's
on the
Shanae
girls'
Walker,
side in
Madison
the 4
Ruff.
p.m. On the girls' side for Westminster, you got them taking on Southwest DeKalb today at 4 p.m. in the consolation game.
That's going to be a very important game, and looks like who is Holy Innocents on the girls' side playing? Because I know they're also in that loaded region.
Holy Innocents.
They're going to play Stevenson tonight, and then
yeah,
they still have a chance to square off.
Yeah. So if Westminster can beat Southwest DeKalb, you'll see them take on the winner in the championship game.
Yep, and I know Southwest DeKalb and Holy Innocents has had the upper hand this year. They're just absolutely loaded, but Southwest DeKalb has been the toughest competition for them. And then you look at the last few games, Holy Innocents has put up 80 points, 90 points, but then Southwest DeKalb, I had to double check it when I was doing the 4A, beat Miller Grove 60-12, home teams to 12 points.
Yeah.
And then I've seen some other results on the girls' side where they're holding teams to single-digit points. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But 60-16 win by Northwest Whitfield, so I think that's a good contrast with that Holy Innocents offense and then the Southwest DeKalb defense.
And on the girls' side in the 4 p.m. game, you got Cambridge taking on Northview in the consolation game. Coach Keys has done an incredible job with Cambridge as well.
Absolutely. They had a great run last year. We brought her on the show, and then that tough region schedule started to get the best of them. But this is year 2 they battled in it, and I think that's a big opportunity. And you can't really fault them. Last year they're in that region. You got GAC and then the state champs with Crystal Henderson and Kell, one of the best scorers to ever come through the state. So I think Cambridge does, you're right, have an opportunity.
They have an opportunity tonight to beat Northview in the consolation game. And Cambridge has had incredible runs on the girls' side for basketball too, since Cambridge had came into that region too.
Yep, and Coach Keys can still hoop for sure. She's one of the best shooters.
Yes, she can.
Yes, she can. She's very confident.
I'm going to try to catch up with her tonight for the 4 p.m. game to get her thoughts on the game and some insights today. So stay tuned for that later today.
Yep, that tips off at 4 o'clock. I think also on the girls' side, a couple other teams I think it's important to watch. We mentioned Baldwin, Holy Innocents, but Fayette County on the girls' side's been incredible. And then you can't count out Stockbridge on the girls' side. They look like they might have their best regular season finish ever, and they will play Luella, who has struggled this season. But honestly, I think you'll see it tonight. If Stockbridge wins this game, I think it might be their first ever region title for girls. They've just been dominant this season, haven't lost once in the classification.
There's going to be a lot of good games, so we're going to have to keep a lookout for those region championships tonight and throughout the day tomorrow.
Yep, and then a couple more championship in Region 7, Central Carroll and Sonoraville on the boys' side. Central Carroll has been tremendous, and then Looks like tonight North Oconee is going to try to handle business against Seconder. That would be, I think, the first region title for both of them. I think they're both trying to make history. North Oconee has been a great team consistently, but Seconder's obviously more new, so this would be their first ever region title, but that should be a great matchup. Seconder has beaten North Oconee this season. North Oconee dominated the rematch and has been the premier team in that region.
True.
All right, well, Jordan, what time are you heading to GAC?
I'm probably going to head over there around like 2 o'clock to get some interviews with some of the coaches before the...
Fantastic. Well, we'll let you head on out. Thank you so much for joining us, Jordan. Thank you for the updates, and
no problem.
I look forward to seeing the results of those Region 6 matchups.
Same.
All right. Well, there goes Jordan, and got a few minutes left. Let's look at some of the wrestling results heading into this weekend real quick. So, on the girls' side, big question mark, who's going to win this first ever traditional title? Last year it got scratched. No one ended up winning because of the ineligible wrestler for, I believe that was the North Hall team. It might have been Cedar Shoals, I can't remember. But you have Carrollton, who won back-to-back duals titles, trying to get the sweep. They are currently leading Woodward Academy 39 to 30.5. So they got an 8.5 point lead over second place Woodward Academy, and then Lumpkin County is in third place currently with 30 points. Greenbrier is a distant fifth with 22 points. However, the teams with the most qualified wrestler, there's 12 weight classes on the girls' side. Carrollton, Woodward, and Greenbrier all have 6 wrestlers. So I think those are probably your favorites. Lumpkin County, they're in third right now. They have 30 points, but they only have 4 wrestlers. So all those girls will pretty much have to earn individual state titles to overcome the lack of depth. But I think it's a 2-team race at this point between Carrollton and Woodward Academy. 2 teams that are looking great heading into the weekend. Once again, 39 points for Carrollton, 30.5 guaranteed for Woodward. On the boys' side, Camden County, this is Class 7A. Camden County and Buford both were able to qualify wrestlers in all 14 weight classes. And it is pretty close heading into the final 2 days. You got Camden County, the most dominant wrestling program in the state, hands down, in the last decade. They have 207 points. Buford's coming in with 190, and they both qualified wrestlers in every weight class, so it will be a fight for the finish with those 2 teams. Let's look at these team scores real quick. In Class Single A, Social Circle has a pretty significant lead over Mount Pisgah heading into the weekend, 196.5 to 134. In Class 2A, Rockmart is leading Union County and Toombs County by about 40 points. They got 103. Union County has 60 points. And you also have Toombs County, Cook, and Vidalia in the top 5. In Class 3A, very close between all 4 of these teams. Class 3A was the most competitive finish that we saw in the duels in terms of multiple teams very close to achieving the state title. So you got Columbus, Lumpkin County, Bremen, and Ringgold all in striking distance. Columbus has 123 points. Lumpkin County 113, just 10 points back. In Class 4A, Central Carroll is leading the field. They got 94 points. Perry's in second with 47.5. North Oconee with 45.5. And then Troop and Southwest DeKalb Looks like Central Carroll might be able to make history and get that sweep. In Class 5A, this would be huge. Ola is leading Powerhouse Jefferson 154 to 137.5. A win over Jefferson in wrestling, that would be absolutely massive for Ola. They have been a top 5 finisher routinely, but taking down the most decorated wrestling program in state history would be huge. So watch out for that. Ola currently leading the Class 5A field. In Class 6A, South Effingham is ahead of second place Woodward Academy, 82.5. Woodward has 60 points. And then we mentioned Class 7A, Camden County 207, Buford 189.5. Guaranteed third place right now is West Forsyth. You also have Mill Creek, Colquitt, Brookwood, and Carrollton in that top 10 range. So it looks like none of them are guaranteed at this point. Some classifications are way more tight than others. I think Social Circle's in good position, but I think the big one to watch is going to be Class 3A. You got 4 teams capable of getting it done, and then Class 5A. Can Ola hold off Jefferson? And let me just check this out. I think it would be their first ever state title if they can do that. And it would. They have never won a traditional state title. So check that out. We'll have that updated. That will come in on Saturday. There's some more matches today, and then that will set the finals. But you can go in and check. The point totals will be updated today, but it won't be finalized till tomorrow. But you're able to see if a guy's out in the round of 8, you're getting 2 or 3 points. If he advances past today, you're guaranteed a top 4 spot. So that's going to be able to put a clear picture on the point total. Definitely check out the basketball results tonight. We'll have playoff brackets updated heading into next weekend, and we've got much more coverage on scoreatl.com with breaking news, coaching changes, and be sure to check out the YouTube page as well. Follow Najee on his social media. He talked to Peachtree Ridge quarterback Darnell Kelly. You can check out that interview. He had a historic season, was leading Class 7A, and led them to a share of that region title with North Gwinnett and Norcross last year, which was incredibly impressive. And he has coach Matt Helmerick heading into year 3. It's going to be very exciting what the Lions are able to do. They were one of the youngest teams in the state last season, and he was absolutely incredible for them. So you can check that out. But we'll be back. Hope everyone has a great weekend. Sorry there's no football this weekend, but there's plenty of basketball. We'll see you then.
What you doing?
Hey, just finishing this claim to get Dave back on the road.
Nice. I wonder what Dave's doing.
You do your thing. We've got you covered.
Dang, where you get this car?
You need to join the union.
The union?
Absolutely. You can get 10 of these.
Union construction workers earn the highest wages with the best benefits and the most protection in the construction industry. Find your career in construction. Go to GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com and start your future today.